with digital addictions? Nobody knows. You don't even know that you may be addicted, but it's messing up your relationships. You're preoccupied with so much. But Dr. Anke is going to tell us all about it. And I so thank her for coming. We've been working together for more than 5 years. So, whilst Dr. Anke is not Seventh-day Adventist, she's a daughter of God. Okay, so that is what we're about. We are all children of God, and she is going to share her knowledge with us. Thank you so much and welcome.
Um, Good day, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to speak into your hearts today. It's really my privilege and my honor. Yes, I am today going to talk about this whole aspect of digital addiction and can you actually be addicted to something that is not a substance? So that was the question years and years ago when I started actually the first PhD was, is it possible to become addicted to something that you do not inhale or smoke or inject or drink? And that was quite profound to prove that. So how do you prove a psychological addiction or a behavioral addiction? And that was quite difficult. So years ago, when I started my first PhD degree, everything was an hypothesis. So everything was a theory. And the reason why I did the second degree was purely now everything is scientifically proven. So today, when I talk to you about digital addiction, when I tell you what the dangers is, what the effects is, it's not because it's my opinion, but also because it's really scientifically proven. And a lot of my work I am currently doing in the counseling office as well. So I work with this, I see this every single day of my life. And this is really a massive, massive problem because we as parents, mostly when we do not understand the dangers of the digital world, we become the drug pushers. We are the one buying the drugs. We are the one not restricting screen times. We are not the one who's involved in our children's life. And my heart breaks, for a lot of parents, because when I do speak about this thing, a lot of them will tell me, I didn't know this. I really, really, really did. So hopefully after today, ignorance will not be bliss. After today, you will really, really know what this is about. It is a profound subject, so I will really try to give you just like the very tippy tip of the iceberg. It's a massive, massive subject. It includes a lot of things. But I do also have a book available, which is available at your bookstore. So if you need some more information, so just to give you some background quickly on what we see with regards to children and their exposure and their influence. So as for a child in a school, 7 hours a day, week, 35 hours a week, it means that they have about 35% of the child's influence is from a school. The parents, look at that, only 8% of a child's day is influenced by parents. The church, if they go to church 4 hours a day, is 3.5%. And then almost 53% here, you can see, is a child's influence with friends and extramural activities and other things. So this is basically what children's life would look like. And you see that 52% is quite a big percentage of children being influenced by friends and playing outside. And this was especially the case before COVID. So 36 is also another big influence of the influence of schools. And can you see if a child is not in a Christian school? Or if they are in a school which promotes all other religions, or a school which promotes this whole LGBTQ thing, or this whole new education on I don't want to say the word because there's children sitting here, but you hear what I'm saying. So then, if a child is only 8% parents and 4% church, what is the child's influence then? So now we see that after COVID, Children have moved 100% on a digital platform. So that means that 52% of a child's influence is from the screen. What do they see? What are they involved with? Friends on screen, gaming, pornography. And this is really what we see today with regards to children and how really their life have deteriorated to a point where we see teachers that say, I refuse. I refuse to be a teacher. I cannot teach these children anymore. And what we now have is what we call Generation Alpha. So, Generation Alpha is the generation of children who've been born that is basically now 13 years and younger. Now, your generation alpha is the first generation of children who had phones as a babysitter. Now we see those children. We see that children, they cannot hold a pen properly. We see the children cannot sit on a chair properly because their muscles have not developed. They cannot read, they cannot spell. They have no creativity. They are emotionally dead because they were in front of an emotionalist device their whole lives. So now we see these children growing up and everyone in schools, in church, basically in your house, you see that we sit with a massive, massive, massive problem. So, yeah, I just want to skip to this. So, and 75 years ago, so 75 years sounds like a long time, but with regards to scientific research, it's not a long time ago. 75 years ago, they've established this whole thing about dopamine. And the thing that you actually get addicted to is dopamine, whether it's a drug or whether it's nicotine or whether it is alcohol or sugar. The thing that spikes in your brain is a chemical with the name of dopamine. But God actually gave us dopamine because dopamine is the hormone that you secrete when you feel joy. When you love that chocolate cake and you just don't want to stop eat that chocolate cake, or when you see the sun rising, or when you smell a rose and you just feel this, but life is good, dopamine is telling you that. But you must understand the enemy have been studying your design for years and years and years. So what the enemy is doing with dopamine is he literally hijacks your brain. He hijacks your dopamine center. Now, to just to explain that we all have a baseline of dopamine, normal dopamine in our brain. So if you, for example, smoke or use alcohol, your dopamine level spikes about 100% above the baseline, but when it drops, it doesn't drop to baseline, it drops below baseline. Now you have this craving for more cigarettes, and eventually you smoke more or you drink more or you use more, not for the dopamine spike, not for the pleasure, but to avoid pain. Because the moment you are in a dopamine deficit, you feel pain. So that's why you have to use just to get back to normal again. So science has proven that a drug like cocaine spikes your dopamine level 225% above baseline, which is a lot. But now, screens spike your dopamine level 300% above baseline. So that's where the word digital cocaine comes from, because I reckon that 2 hours in front of the screen causes the brain damage of like 1 line of cocaine. So if an average child's screen time is 4 hours or 6 hours a day, what is the brain damage? And I'm going to show you Nana on one of the brain scans of what does his brain looks like who is addicted to a screen. And the thing is, this is in our pocket. We have the drug in our pocket. We have the game in our pocket. We have the pornography in our pocket. And the problem is, there will never ever be an era without screens ever again. So to say, just take the device, it's not the solution. It's a temporary solution if the child is disobedient or there's a pornography addiction, but but we need something more. We need to understand what these dangers are. So if we know, then we can at least know what to look for. The Bible says, do not be ignorant about the schemes of the devil. So today, that you not be ignorant about the schemes of the devil. Another scripture is in Genesis 4, where Cain have just killed his brother, and God approached Cain. And the reason why God was talking to Cain was God wanted Cain to confess. He didn't want to judge him or condemn him. He was hoping Cain would confess. And God said a profound thing to Cain. He said, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must master over it. And this is the same for me with the screen. You must understand, behind every screen, sin is crouching. Behind your child's screen, sin is crouching. Behind the Xbox, sin is crouching. And it desires to have your child. It desires to have your soul. But you must master over it. And you should teach your child how to master over it. So, currently, today, and this is probably the most profound statistic that I've seen in a long time, they've done a study from 43 countries worldwide to see what is the average screen time addictions or screen time guidelines from all over the world. South Africa currently, we are the most internet addicted country in the world. We have an average screen time of about 10 hours and 46 minutes a day. We use our screens up to 70% of our day, where a country like China, for example, their screen time is coming down. They are roughly sitting at about 40%. So we really, really see that South Africa is a country that is in a massive, 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 massive need for guidance and for education with regards to this. So a country like the Netherlands have um, restricted screens in their schools from the 1st of January 2024. So the whole of Netherlands are not allowed. China already, they have done this already. No phones allowed in the schools. China also, after 8 o'clock at night, it's against the law to game. So other countries are closing the gates to these devices. But our country, what are we doing? We are doing the complete opposite. But the thing is, why they have restricted screens in school is because of this thing that we call constant distraction. So, just to give you a case study quickly, and this is an average, on average, we pick up our phones 58 times a day. So, this is just for this case study that I'm going to show you what it means. But I've read about 2 weeks ago, I've read research that they say we touch our phone. They just like, you know, touch our phone, not necessarily pick it up, almost 2,000 times a day, which is rough. But anyway, so if we pick up our phone 58 times a day to actually do something on the phone, 70% of those times it is less than 2 minutes. So it's really very quick. We pick up our phone, read the WhatsApp and put it down, or we do the phone call, or we check the weather, or it's check Instagram, so it's quick. 25% of those sessions are 2 to 10 minutes, and then 5% of the sessions are more than 10 minutes. And this adds up to about 3 hours and 15 minutes a day. All right, so say for that 70%, if we say that we pick up our phone in less than 2 minutes and put it down, it will add up, here you can see, about to 37 minutes a day if you start working from 9 until 5. But then you will say, but what is your problem? 37 minutes is nothing. The thing is, it's not 37 consecutive minutes. It's pick up and put down, and pick up and put down. So we pick up our device about every 3 minutes or so. But the research have now proven why it's a massive problem. If you are concentrating on something and you get distracted by reading the WhatsApp and come back, it takes your brain 23 minutes to get back to deep focus. So if your child is sitting down and he is studying with the phone, listening to music, checking Instagram, and it takes your child 23 minutes every time he switches to the screen to come back, 23 minutes to focus and concentrate again, what does that studying do to him? Nothing. Nothing. So that's why the child will tell you, but I did study. And your question will be, but why did you get 20% for your maths? It's the teacher's fault. It's that one's fault. It's that one's fault. But did you understand that even if you studied a whole weekend and you multitask, you're studying with your phone, that study time will mean nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So this was an awesome article in the New York Times magazine long ago. I should actually put in the reference here. And it said the promise of connectivity that adults have allowed the dismantling of a secure base of attachment, the need for connection, support, and nurturing remains unfulfilled, resulting in a mental, emotional, and spiritual health crisis. Another article said that we are creating psychotic junkies. So you must understand, why is connection so important? God created us for connection. When God created in the book of Genesis, we see 6 times in a row, God said, "It is good. It is good." The seventh time, God said, "It's not good." What was not good? It was not good for Adam to be alone. But think about it, was Adam alone? He wasn't, because he was actually walking with God. He was probably the most connected person in the history of mankind, but God said it's not good for him to be alone. So we have this inborn need to be connected. We want partnership and we want conversation and we want hugs, but the enemy knows this. So he created this fake platform where teenagers especially feel like they are connected and they belong and they have this community, but is it connecting them or is it isolating them? It's isolating them 100%. They think they are connected and they think they are popular because the dopamine is secreting with the likes and the shares and the content, but they are depressed and they are anxious and they commit suicide at an alarming rate. The number one reason for deaths between the ages of 14 and 24 is suicide. Last year, October 2023, I've got the statistics that in South Africa, 350 children have already committed suicide. So Gauteng, 80 children, youngest child to commit suicide was 11. So why do we have this shocking statistic? Think about medication. If they put a pill on the market, gave everyone a pill to use, within a year, 40% of the people who use the pill commit suicide. What would they have done with that pill? They would have withdrawn it from the market. But why didn't they do it with social media? You know, during this week, the American government is suing Mark Zuckerberg on a federal level because they say Mark Zuckerberg knew. Mark Zuckerberg, who created social media and Facebook and Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg had the research on his table, which proved how children is committing suicide, which proved the emotional and mental and spiritual health crisis that children are currently in. He knew, but he wished to squash it. And now, hopefully, you will be held accountable. So this is really just in a profound scripture as well. Proverbs 18 says, "Whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment." And here, scripture is also saying that isolating ourselves is actually very selfish. And then I can go on and say, but what is this idolatry going on the phones with the selfies and the self obsession? So, really, really, we can see actually how it's like an antichrist spirit that is pushing through this media and just drawing children in massive self obsessed, risky behavior. So, here is a book, Alone Together, from Sherry Turkle, and she said, "We are lonely, but we are fearful of intimacy. Digital connection and the sociable robot may offer the illusion of companionship without the demands of friendship. Our network life allowed us to hide from each other, even as we are tethered to each other We would rather text than talk. Then the next quote, she said, we expect more from technology and less from each other. And whenever we expect less of each other, we inevitably drift further and further from each other, leaving us isolated and lonely. And how many of you have maybe gone into a restaurant and there you see a lovely family sitting, and the mom and the dad and the children, and they are together at the restaurant, but they are each isolated in their own device. Most of them have the earphones on, not talking one word to each other. And then when I have the opportunity like this, I would love to speak to the fathers. Because you, as the father, what are you doing and what is your screen time? What are you allowing as a father in your household? What is what what is your attitude towards your child when you are on a screen and your child comes and say, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy? Do you say, listen, stop, I'm busy? Because in the counseling room, I will hear over and over, I wish my dad would love me as much as he screamed. I wish my mom will spend the amount of time with me as she spent playing Candy Crush. You must understand that you, as a parent, will never be able to give something that you do not have. If you do not have self control over your screen, you will not be able to teach a child how to have self control on their screen. So, yeah, we can go on and on and on. So, can someone be addicted digitally? I'm not going to go into the research, but the answer is 100% yes. So, digital addiction is divided under 5 main headings: a social media addiction, a compulsive internet addiction, obsession after gathered information, internet gaming addiction, and the worst of them all is a cyber sex or a cyber porn addiction. So you will also sometimes see children, and these are all interconnected, because you will say to a child, you have played enough games now. Put down the game. What will they do? They will go on YouTube and search information on how other people are playing games. It's still gaming. One is active gaming and one is passive gaming. It's still dopamine. It doesn't matter on what platform it is. All right. So the research with regards to where children are, what the research is, suicidal behavior, depression, anxiety, it's really, really, really horrific. You will see eating disorders in children have doubled since the pandemic. You will see really also how TikTok and Instagram is pushing eating disorders. Um, it's really. I was actually at a camp in December where we spoke to the teenagers, and there was a girl who was completely anorexic. And she learned how to be anorexic and how to count the calories and how to hide food. She learned that from TikTok. So this is really, really an agenda of the enemy to put children in this virtual prison. I just want to skip this. So, why is social media not smart for middle school children and younger? You must understand that the age restriction of social media is 13. A child under the age of 13 cannot have TikTok or Instagram or Pinterest. If a child under the age of 13 does have TikTok, my question is, how did that child get it? Either the child lied about the age restriction, or you as the parent gave permission. So on social media, kids see an absolute distorted view of reality. Social media exaggerates a child's tendency to focus solely on themselves. So this is this whole self-obsession, and also with the selfies. And then absolutely social media pushes children into risky behavior. And this is something that I really do see. On my way here, I met a family now in Alberton. They stayed far away. So I said, listen, I'm on my way to Heidelberg. Let me meet you and help you quickly. So this boy, high school boy, He is in a hostel, and he was getting dressed, and there's a bunk bed in the hostel, and the friend was sitting on the top bed, and he was getting dressed, and the friend took a picture of him getting dressed. And for fun, that friend distributed that picture on Snapchat. And then obviously this picture was circulating and circulating and circulating. And phew, the repercussions of that was quite far reaching. The boy who took the picture, he was also 16 years old. What he does not understand is the law. The law says if you are under the age of 18 and you take a nude pictures of yourself or someone else, you are manufacturing child porn. If you have a picture like that on your phone, you are in possession of child pornography. And if you send a picture like that, you are distributing child porn. So that friend was manufacturing, distributing, and in possession of child porn. And when you speak to him, he will say, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. So now the police needs to get involved. He was suspended, but now all of them are back in school. But you know what's happening to the boy whose picture it was? He's been bullied now. He's got two groups who bullied him. One group who is friends of the guy who took the picture and say, yeah, but why did you do it? And it was just a joke. And, could you be just mature about it? So he's got that part who's bullying him. And then there's the other part who's bullying him who's laughing at him. Now that boy, his grades has dropped. He is severely depressed. He doesn't want to go back to school. There is massive conflict in the household. The mum is in trauma because one boy took a picture and thought it was funny. So, yes, this is really what we see with regards to children. True toxicity of social media. Social media weaponize envy. And this also we see, especially with boyfriend and girlfriend and this whole jealousy thing going on. I said about the new pill, you are rewarded on social media for being controversial. So the more controversial you are, the more naked your picture is, the more sexy you are, the more risky you are rewarded for that, but you are ignored if you are just normal. You cannot abandon reality and not have mental health issues. Social media is said to be mass psychosis. Selfies contributes of 60% of social media. That means 6 out of 10 times it's about myself. People are falling in love with themselves. It is called cathaxis, or it's just plainly, like the Bible says, idolatry. Narcissism, massive narcissism that's going on. And then the problem is social media is conditioning. There is a cure for addiction, but conditioning is much, much, much more difficult. So the risks of social media that we currently see is a content risk, it's the three C's, a conduct risk and a contact risk. Content risk is especially when your child comes in contact with unwanted sexual content or harmful content, massive problem. The exposure of children to pornography is, they say for a fact, from as young as 9. They say that you have to speak to your child about exposure to porn from the age of 5. And this is the reality that we are currently facing. Conduct risk is a child's own conduct online and a child's own actions online, that where parents do not want to believe that maybe it's my child. Maybe my child is the bully. Maybe my child is the one who's manufacturing the child pornography. Maybe it's my child. So that's also why you need to check in with your child's digital life. You need to check their phones. You need to have conversations to them. And then the last C is a contact risk, is when your child comes in contact with a bully. And then horrible, horrible today in South Africa is sex predators and human trafficking. We are number 3 in the world with regards to human trafficking. It is a massive problem. And now, what we see, if they do not use the children for human trafficking and for the sex trade, they use these children in selling their organs. So please be aware that this that predators and pedophiles find children on social media. That's where they hunt these children. So examples of some of these harms of a life online. TikTok is probably, I always say, if I can wish one app to die, like Jesus cursed the fig tree. If I can curse a fig tree, I will curse TikTok. Really, really, really. So you must understand that social media works on algorithms. And so the more you click on something, obviously the more. The other day, actually, I was in a clothing shop, Poetry. I don't know if you know Poetry. I just walked into Poetry. I walked around and I walked out. And at home, when I was on Facebook, I get notifications of buying Poetry clothes online. It's frightening. It's actually WhatsApp who is monitoring you. But anyway, so within the first 30 days of your child opening up a TikTok account, he will get messages of self harm, suicide, and eating disorders. For a fact, the algorithms is set up like that. TikTok Dare is a horrible thing. This TikTok Dare is a dare that came out end of last year, beginning of this year, is where children were dared on TikTok. So how it works is they put a dare out there. You do the dare, you film yourself doing the dare, and you upload it to TikTok. So this dare was a dare where the children need to inhale the content of an aerosol can. So that they can be alcohol or butane or whatever the gas is. So this girl, she did the TikTok there. She went into cardiac arrest and she was declared brain dead. And this father is just going all over the world. And look how pretty this girl is, and she's gone. But just because of a dare. Another dare that I was involved with a lot was a dare that was going on around in schools, is what we call the skull crusher dare. So this specific school, what they did is the children will stand in a circle, shoulder to shoulder to close the circle, and then they will take a heavy object. So this particular school took the shot put ball, and one will throw up this ball in the middle, and then they will wait to see whose skull it's going to crash. So that is the skull crusher day. Another day, and maybe you've seen it, it's also circulating TikTok, is where three children will stand next to each other like this, and then the one in the middle will jump up, and then two children next to will kick your feet underneath you, and also you can literally break your neck with that type of dare. And then you ask children, why do you do it? And they will say it's for fun. You must understand that child's brain is not fully developed. They literally do not have the brain capacity to make good decisions. That's why you must be the parent to protect children against stupid dares like this. Teenage filter that we see, there's actually a lot of filters, and there's more and more and more filters. There is now also a filter that if you take the filter, the child will look like a porn star on this filter. This is the teenage filter. I was quite shocked when I see this. And this girl here with the blue hair, she was talking on this video and she was raving about how awesome this teenage filter is. And she said, "Oh, now I can get, now I can connect with my younger self," and all airy fairy. But this filter is for pedophiles and predators, because your 10-year-old will think that he's talking to another 10-year-old. Yesterday, yesterday I received a long message from a mother said that on a gaming platform, her boy met a boy, and this boy needed skins. So if you skins is like weapons on Fortnite. So if you will send me nude pictures about yourself, I will buy you skins. So please understand that gaming platforms currently is where we find the most bullying happening. So bullying is really, really a rough thing that's happening in schools. It's also the number one reason why children are currently committing suicide. Also, you must be aware of the fact that even on Cartoon Networks and Roblox and things like that, there is pornography. That so the creators of pornography is very intentional with this. When your child is playing games, especially if it's an hours and hours, so one thing that this dopamine is doing, it shuts down your prefrontal cortex. So this is where your decision making is lying. So basically, what it's doing is the red light to say to you, you must stop, doesn't function. And then the natural arousal levels of this child is heightened. So if the red light is not working and the arousal levels is heightened in a game, what do the creators of pornography do? They insert porn into the game because if they can get a child to switch from gaming to porn, they make a lot of money. It's very, 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 very intentional. So we see predators using social media to track children online, digital kidnapping, and in Roblox especially. If your child is playing Roblox, make sure what they are playing and what they are doing. A whole part of Roblox is a part where other children can develop and create games. And this is where they find the pornography. We've talked about sex texting a little. So, this is just some statistics that we see that 70% of children have shared their own self generated child sexual abuse material or just child porn. And then the second one I want to point you to 15% of 9 to 10 years old have shared their own selfie. 9 to 10 years old. And then when you ask them, but why do you do it if you know that you shouldn't? The answer will be, but everyone is doing it. In schools, it's a massive problem, especially with the alpha males in the school. The alpha males in the school, the captain of the rugby team, and they are collecting pictures from girls like trophies. It gives them some form of street credit. And when I speak to girls in schools, I tell them never, ever, ever think that when you share a nude picture of yourself to your boyfriend, that he's going to keep it to himself. Because he doesn't. He shows it to everyone. Or let's say he does keep it secret. And then a month from now, you decide not to continue the relationship with him. Yeah. Then as a form of revenge, he's sharing that material. So, this is a question that I get often when I urge parents to say, be involved in your child's life, take their phones, look at what they are looking. And then most parents will tell me, yo, but I hate to be a spy. I don't want to spy on my child. The honest thing is, you should spy on your child, but all right, let's make it a little bit softer and give it to you like this, saying, all right, don't see yourself as a spy, see yourself as a watchdog. What is the function of a watchdog? Most of us do have dogs at home. That dog protects the family. That dog makes a noise when a perpetrator or a foreign person is coming in. That person is the protector of the house, and you should see yourself as the watchdog of your child's heart. You must make sure that nothing foreign is coming into your child's heart, that a pedophile or the predator does not enter into your child's heart. You must make sure that your child's heart does not get exposed to pornography. It happened to my girl as well on TikTok. And you know what is the horrible thing? The moment my daughter saw something that she shouldn't see, I can never, ever, ever give her back her innocence. She can never unsee something, ever. It's like a match. Die oomblik as jy daai vuurhoutjie trek, can you reuse that match? Never again, it's gone. And innocence is like that. The moment it's taken, it's gone. So, yes, there's really no such thing of a child having privacy on their phone from you as the parent. You should know what the child's password is. You must have access to the phone, and it must be a rule in your house that if I'm asking you for your phone to check and there is a massive tantrum because of it, then you should lose the privilege of a phone. You should make sure about dangerous applications. Snapchat works like WhatsApp. For those of you who do not know, it's a chat app like WhatsApp. The difference between Snapchat and WhatsApp is the moment that you read a snap, the message disappears. So if you go on the search or the chat history, it's empty. There is nothing. So also that is where drug dealers is doing the buys. I don't know if you know that, but is they do it on Snapchat because if you go onto the history, there is nothing. Tinder is the dating app of Facebook, TikTok, WhatsApp, Instagram, and then parental controls. But we're going to talk about the parental controls at the end of the session. Is what to do. So don't worry about it. I'll help you. So the biggest risk, like I said, is pornography. There's different reasons and different ways how children gain access to porn. Really doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that children is seeing porn, whether by accident, whether by intentional, whether a friend is showing children pornography. So this is really doing massive, massive harm. So confronting porn, and just want to read you the top quote, and it's from an unknown person. It said that sin will take you farther than you ever thought you'd go. It will keep you there longer than you've ever intended to stay, and it will cost you more than you've ever expected to pay. And I think it's so true also for our previous speaker that it happened to him as well. It took him further than he thought it would ever go. It kept him there longer than he ever intended to stay, and it cost him more than he ever intended to pay. So just to show you that porn sites receive more website traffic in the United States, look at this. Twitter, Instagram, Netflix, Pinterest, and LinkedIn combined. Pornography grew during COVID with 300%. It is massive. 75% of parents believe that their child have never encountered pornography, but of those children, 50% have in fact reported that they've seen porn. I do not want you to think because you are a Christian and it's a Christian household and your child go to youth that this will not happen to your child. The devil is still a roaring lion seeking to destroy. And especially if your child is a Christian child and there is a calling on your child's life. If there is a mantle of authority on your child's life, especially then, the devil wants to defile your child, and the earlier he can do it, the bigger the hold is on that child's life. And it goes for the parents as well. And not when again, it's not, me to judge anyone or to anything, condemn or anything. But even in church and even in leadership in church, there's people addicted to pornography. And it's a huge problem. The problem is pornography. You see, with drugs, for example, like our previous speaker said, and I'm so glad that he was before me, you can tell a drug addict by the way he looked and by the way he dressed and by the way he does. You can tell when a person is smoking. You can smell the smoke, and you can tell when a person is drinking because he will be, walking all skew and slumbering and smelling. But how will you tell a porn addict? What is the outward symptoms? There's niks. It's such a secret sin that you will be able to stand at the pulpit on Sundays and no one will be able to tell that you have this secret battle. And my heart is just to help because I know it's a battle. I know it's a battle. And I know for people who is trapped in that battle, they've tried and they've tried and they've tried, but it's like an imprisonment. So just to show you quickly, there on the left-hand side, the yellow brain is his brain scan of a normal brain and what a normal brain looks like. There in the middle, you can see the brain damage on a brain on heroin. And this image here is a brain scan of the brain damage on pornography. Especially you will see in front these gaping holes in the front part of the brain. That is the cognitive functioning, the decision making, the learning abilities. So if the child is battling to learn, or all of a sudden the math marks has dropped, and you see rebellion, and especially a disrespect towards the mother or the teacher, go and dig. Do not be scared what you're going to find. Rather find it and deal with it than thinking, but I don't want to go look. So just just to bring it everything to a landing, what now? So unsupervised digital media will harm your child. Phones are designed to be addictive. You know, when Steve Jobs presented the Apple iPad in 2013 at a TED conference, one of the people in the audience asked Steve Jobs, "So, what does your own children think about the Apple iPad?" What was his answer? "My children are not allowed on any digital device until they are 16." Bill Gates, his child was not allowed on screens until she was 16. So, yes, social media is not so social. There is no such thing as multitasking. Your phone is changing your brain. Your phone is killing your attention span. Your phone messes with your memory. It is interfering with your sleep. Your phone is making you more stressful, and your phone is making you less satisfied. So, what is the safety precautions that you can take? And I've given it the acronym of family. Filter the internet, align with your values, monitor online behavior, interact with your kids, look at the time online, and the why is you must remember why you are doing this, and it's because you love them. And I just want to break it down a little bit for you. Filter the internet, the best filter is still the human filter. You as the mother and you as the father, you should be the filter. There is very, very good apps that you can use. I use the common sense media a lot because I get children in the counseling room and they tell me about these games that they are playing and I have no clue what the game is. I go onto common sense media, I type in the name of the game or the name of the app, and then common sense media is a Christian resource that will tell you so much about this game. Bark, also a very good resource. And if you suspect pornography in the household, especially with children, Protect Young Eyes, also a good resource, also a Christian resource. For adults who is battling with pornography, the best website for resources is a website with the name of Covenant Eyes. It is amazing. There is resources, there's books that you can download. It's awesome. The second filter is a technology filter, is also where you must use your Wi-Fi router. At night, switch it off because children will say good night, love you, and then you go to bed and they continue. Last week I was in the counseling room and I called out a boy about, behavior in class, and everyone is just battling with this boy. And I've got this nice couch in my counseling room, and this boy climbed on the counseling on the chair, and I could see this boy is going to fall asleep. It was early in the morning. And I asked him, "So what why are you so tired?" He said, "No, he's sharing the bedroom with his grandparents, and his grandparents goes to bed early." I said, "So what do you do?" He said, "He waits until his grandparents go to bed, and then he will take out the tablet and he played the roadblocks." 9 years old. I asked him, "What time did you go to bed?" 2 o'clock the morning. So that's why I say, take it, block, stop. All right, so A, align with your values, declare technology free zones, no Wi Fi devices in the bedroom. You should not allow an Xbox, a PlayStation, a cell phone, a computer, anything, any device in the bedroom. Put the computer in a common area where if you walk by, you can see what's going on. All right. No social media until 13, and then protect your child's privacy and identity online. Monitor what your child is doing. Again, the human monitor is the best. Set screen time limits and stick to it. A child under the age of 2, zero screen time. It's abuse. If you give a child under the age of 2 a screen to be a babysitter, from 2 to 5, you can give a child about 20 minutes of screen time. Primary school children, 1 hour a day max. And if it's test series or exam, then nothing during the school week, only screen time during the weekends, and then your high school child, 2 hours a day. Say no to Snapchat and TikTok in case of smartphone anxiety. And this is also for you. If you see that your phone is causing you stress or you cannot sleep or it's ping, 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 ping the whole time, switch off the notifications. No password on the phone that you do not know. Less than 200 friends on any applications. No talking to strangers. This should be a hard rule. If you catch your child talking to a stranger, you should take the phone and you will lose the privilege of a phone because this is really, really serious. This is where they get the children. They disappear. There's a girl now who disappeared. Where? KZN, no? Yeah. Yeah, oh, Cape Town. Yeah, Jocelyn. That girl's gone. The life expectancy of a child who's been stolen for human trafficking is 7 years. You must understand, it's the fastest growing industry in the world. Think about a drug dealer. When a drug dealer sells the drug, say it's 15 rand for that drug, maybe 7 rand is profit, but 7 rand must go back into manufacturing a drug. But if you buy a child, you pay once and you can reuse and reuse and reuse the same girl or boy anything between 10 and 20 times a night. She keeps on making you money and making you money and making you money. It makes billions. Do yourself a favor and go watch the movie Sound of Freedom. There you will see exactly what is happening to these girls. So, a very good tracking app, if you want to install a tracking app on your child's phone, Live 360. Internationally, the best monitoring app currently is rated the best is an app called Bark. It's a paid for app, but you can add 5 devices on the Bark phone. Some parents have told me before that the setup of your Bark app is quite difficult, but once it's set up, it works 100%. For free, you can get Family Link on the Android phone and Screen Time on an Apple phone. I've also heard that Net Nanny is good, but there is quite a lot. Turn off the location service on your child's cell phone except when you track them. And then social media accounts must be private, all social media accounts. Then you have to talk to your children about bullying because one thing that children are doing when they are bullied online is they delete the message. And then when you try to help them, there's no proof. So teach them if someone is horrible or is ugly to you or bully you, block the person, but do not delete the message and come and tell. So block or take a screenshot and report the bully. And the same goes with pornography. Just quickly, I have about 5 minutes left, so I can tell you quickly. The way you should teach a child, even a child as young as 5, you can tell them or teach them about safe and unsafe pictures. You don't have to use porn or the word porn, or you don't have to go into explicit detail. If you take your cell phone and you can tell them, look at mommy's phone, all the pictures on mommy's phone are safe pictures. How does it make you feel? It makes you feel safe. Even the pictures that we are on the beach or on holiday and we have our swimsuits on, even that pictures are safe pictures. So then you can tell them, all right, so as we get safe pictures, we also get unsafe pictures or unsafe videos. An unsafe picture or an unsafe video is when the people on the picture of on the video is naked. Then it's an unsafe picture and it makes your body feel unsafe. So when you see an unsafe picture, I want you to turn. So either turn the screen around or turn away from the screen, because a lot of children will try to, delete it themselves or get out of the app, and then they get just deeper and deeper and deeper into it. So teach them, turn, just turn away, run away, and come tell me. And if the child tells you, listen, mom, there's some stuff on my phone, then don't fight with them. Just actually give them credit for being honest and say, thank you that you've come and tell me. Remove it from your child's phone and end of the story. All right. But you have to have a talk like this. There was a mother, um, she did exactly this. So with a young child, you only talk about safe and unsafe pictures. But when they are older, I think around about from about 9 or so, you can actually give them the definition of pornography and say pornography is when you see an unsafe picture, meaning the people in the picture is not good, is not dressed, or they even have sex and it makes your body feel unsafe. That's pornography. So this mother was teaching this child this little story, and she phoned me and she said, you know what happened is that my boy, he was young, I can't remember, like 10 or 11 or so. She had this talk to him and he was invited to a birthday party. And so the parents that the birthday party was held at, they were building onto the house. So the yard was like a building yard. So the mother had the party in the double garage. So all the entertainment and everything was in the garage. And so the children were playing in the garage and the parents were like drinking tea and eating cake. And but one of the contractors come to this specific boy and he showed him porn on the phone. And he said to him, do you want to come with me? And let's do this that we are seeing. But this boy remembered and he ran to his mother and he said, you know what, mom? I just saw pornography. He was actually quite excited because his mom told him about porn. And he said, I just saw porn. And and a pedophile got arrested, So it's really a lot of parents will say, yeah, but I don't want to, make them inquisitive. Ek wil nie hê my kinders moet nuuskierig wees of you will not. You are equipping them. That's what you are doing. So, and it makes a difference. So, regular check ins and conversation with your children about what they are up to online. Look at what they are doing. Talk to your children. So, when they hand in the device, so an hour and a half before bedtime, you stop the screen time, they hand in the device. And that's also when they've handed in the device and they go to bed, that is when you quickly just go through the device, make sure there's no new apps, no new games, no new friends, and then talk to them about it. So there is a good movie you can watch, Childhood 2.0 on YouTube, good resource. The Social Dilemma is on Netflix, where you can really just see how these social media applications and the whole world of social media was very intentionally generated, and you can see there how the algorithms is working. And then also our book, The Digital Dilemma, also available. I do have here, but it's also available at your bookstore. And then why? At the end of the day, remember why you are doing it. It's not because you want to be ugly or you want to do anything, because the moment you start implementing this, your child will ask you, but why are you punishing me? Why do you hate me? And then you need to tell them it's because I love you and I want to protect you. And they will say, but other people is doing this or other people is playing games or all my friends have phones. And then you say, listen, but this is not other people. We we are De Beer. So ander mense doen wat hulle wil in die De Beer huis, doen ons dinge so. I was a single mom for very, very long, so I know how tough it can be. And someone told me about the golden rule, and the golden rule changed my life. And so we eventually had only one golden rule in our house, and the golden rule is the man with the gold makes the rules. If it's my phone that I bought, if I pay for the Wi Fi and I buy your data, then technically, whose phone is it? It's mine. Because you must understand, if the phone is in your name and there is child porn on your phone, or your boy is sending and receiving pictures from the girlfriend, who will be in trouble for child porn? You. It's your device. You can get a fine of up to 50,000 rand per image. So it's really, really a problem. All right, so that is my last slide. There is my contact details. If you need any questions, if you need any advice, um, please, I am more than willing and more than welcome to help. I do really help. You are welcome to email me or send me a WhatsApp, and if you need some advice on anything. So thank you so much.